Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again to the Meat and Potato Show, conservative talk and awesome rock. I'm here with my great friend Barbara Stinson, known as Barbara from Harlem. She just wrapped up an absolutely fantastic afternoon with Jessica Vaughn, giving a great speech about amnesty, illegal immigration, and race relations as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's absolutely fantastic to welcome guests like this to the show. I look forward to meeting these people, and this interview is no different. Barbara,
well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I know you're busy, dear. I won't keep you very long. Absolutely fantastic talk. Let's get right into it. The Syrian refugee that we spoke about earlier, it's already resulted in widespread destruction throughout Europe as they come in. I mean, they quite literally, there's all the videos on YouTube where they come they're in Macedonia, they're on, I think, the island of Lesbos. The very first thing they start doing is destroying everything. I don't know why. I don't know why they're doing this. And they ride in all these nations. How prepared are we to handle that potential? And do you see that happening? I mean, almost as soon as they get here, just instantaneous mayhem.
Well, I mean, if they're doing it there, there's no telling what they'll do if they come here. We need to really consider what we're doing, who they are, and, just take a step back. We just can't jump into it because we don't need any more destruction and disruptive behavior in America.
Exactly. The disruptive behavior in places like Ferguson and Baltimore, I mean, that's enough already, and that's just grown here. Do you think that well, what if these groups, these refugee groups got in and then started influencing Black America, Baltimore, Ferguson? What would you see?
That would be a disaster.
Right.
So first we need to try to, do due diligence as far as they're concerned before we just open up our arms and say, come on in. As much as possible, because we are not at the point in America where things are running smoothly anymore.
Secularism in government, and I loved how you mentioned it. You mentioned socialism, communism, secularism. I mean, it's all the same. It's in there. Government, basically secularism, loose translation, is government being the all-knowing God rather than God himself.
Absolutely.
Now, is that something that, well, you and I have the benefit of hindsight, being the ages that we're at. Has that something that's just evolved organically through the 20th century? Or do you think, and look back in your youth too, is this something that was kind of an push, kind of something that was pre-planned?
I believe it has been. I believe that they've been
secularism.
Yes. Yeah. They have been planning to destroy, and I think, I should say, attack the institutions of this country for a long time. Back when there was a sexual revolution, and they told they told a lot of women, and primarily
I believe Black women.
Absolutely. Love the one you're with. Free sex. You don't need a man in the house, etc., etc. And look at the devastation effects that it's had upon the Black family.
And here's the thing, they don't even pay attention to the numbers. I mean, you mentioned numbers, and I know these are just raw statistics, but these are actual people. They're actually children, they're actually single mothers. And now we have this, I'm a divorced father myself. One of the very first things I had to do was fight tooth and nail for just basic custody rights and visitation rights for my child. Whereas the sexual revolution that's going on, it's like everything is de facto for the woman.
Absolutely.
So men are marginalized now. And structure. Go ahead.
Well, I don't think that's right. The way that they do men sometimes, the way men are marginalized, and unfortunately, some of the mothers use the children as a pawn in a game to hurt the man.
I've seen that, sure.
I have a case. My nephew has a child by a woman he's not married to, and we had to go to court. I went with him to court because she didn't even want him to come visit his son. And when the caseworker and I talked, I said, isn't that sad? Most women would want the child and to have a relationship with the father. But here it is, she was trying to make sure he didn't have a relationship.
Even part of the way the laws are written, the way the divorce laws are written, is that the father must be cut out of the situation. What were you and Jessica talking about? The benefits. So you get the benefits. Isn't that true?
And the one who does not benefit is the child.
Exactly.
The one who is left with all of the scars, most of the scars, of the child.
throughout the childhood and into their adult life.
That's right.
And then the cycle repeats. They end up having a child out of wedlock, and the whole thing happens all over.
Right.
How does a liberal, or a liberal mind, I should say, reject God in our schools? This whole push to get God out of schools, government, off the money, get God completely out of everything in the public discourse. But yet at the same time, the liberal mindset is looking to make all sorts of exceptions for Islam under the rise of, well, you know, we have to be respectful of them, you know? How does that work in there?
Well, you know, I think they have more in common than in common with me. In other words,
Who has more in common?
Liberals, secular humanists have more in common with Islamic people who worship Islam, because they reject. Both of those groups reject the Judeo-Christian founding of this country. So they're more connected.
That's a great point. I hadn't thought of it that way. You're right. Destroy the Jews, destroy the Christians, destroy the infidels. What are liberals doing? Destroy the traditions of America, destroy the institutions.
And they're based on Judeo-Christian values.
And the press and the left wing in general have decried in putting a devout Christian into office. I was talking with a woman earlier, and we were talking about how I loved Ted Cruz's introduction to running for president. He spoke about his faith. He spoke about his relationship with Christ. Now, the left always decries, oh, we don't want that because then it's the war on women. They're going to take away your abortion rights. But again, you and I have the benefit of hindsight. When in fact we know that when we get a devout Christian, look at Ronald Reagan, these things never, it's not like we become a theological state. However, you get these liberals in, history has proven time and time again they impose liberal will.
That's
they're right. They're the ones changing the public discourse.
Absolutely, and their religion says down with God. Their religion says man is the measure of all things. And everything that God has established, they go about to attack it, even the death penalty. Look at how many states have changed, and it's all of a sudden so savage and horrible. But, you know, God had the death penalty to keep a handle on culture.
To keep a handle on culture, keep a handle on crime and our moral behavior. And how much further will our moral fabric fall apart if we become more like Europe, with the refugees, with the secularism, with the destruction, and with foreigners being, instead of assimilating, which is one of, that's, I gotta tell you, that's one word I did not hear in this afternoon.
That's true.
The term assimilation.
That's right. That's right.
What's happening now, I've spoken to this with several guests on the show, that it seems like these ethnic groups are enclaving. We have Muslim neighborhoods, we have black neighborhoods, we have the Hispanic neighborhoods, whereas before it was everyone was supposed to mix and meld together.
Absolutely.
How much more of the fabric is going to be destroyed if we keep doing this?
Well, that's our job, to wake people up, as many people as we can, about the devastation that it produces. We need to be one. From many, one. That's the motto of this country. We cannot let the secular humanists separate us so that they can control these little pockets of people. That's dangerous.
You remember those days, those racist,
Yes, I do.
historical days
I do.
in America. It must break your heart to see, like I said, the enclaving, the black neighborhoods, the rioting, there's angst. There's real angst out there. It must break your heart to see that. Knowing the people died. Just trying to get these things to happen in America today.
That's right. And we've come so far in America. More so than I believe any other country. You know, look at the Constitution. Way back when, the Civil War and all of that, so that proclamation, Emancipation Proclamation could be signed. Look at what happened with Dred Scott. And he's now in what is it, the Hall of Fame or whatever, there in Missouri. We're not a bad nation. We're not a bad people. And the liberals are trying to paint America as this horrible place. But look at all of the people who want to come here to live.
Yeah, why? If we're so bad.
If we're so bad.
Right, exactly.
And then as I was telling someone, in college I had a professor who was from Nigeria. And he talked about America, and he was blacker than I was. And I told him, you're blacker than me. And you came here voluntarily. If you have a problem with America, leave. I'll help you back.
Like you said, Barbara, at the beginning of your speech, it was all designed for a more perfect union.
Yes, it was.
And we're still not perfect.
We're not perfect.
We've got a long way to go.
But we've come a long way too.
Barbara, God bless you.
God bless you both.
Oh,
Oh,
enjoy.
thank you.
Be safe. Thank you so much for coming to
Oh, listen, I'm so glad Joe had me.
All right. Anytime you come back on, let's get you back on the show too. All right. All right. Red, I'll hit you up and we'll talk more.
All right.
All right. Have a
God
good
bless.
day.
All right. Okay.